Turning our attention now to the ASX, here's Matt Birney and Bulls and Bears with the latest public company views and interviews.
Welcome to the Bulls and Bears Market Wrap, where we break down the latest ASX announcements from public companies that are doing interesting things. Today's Market Wrap is brought to you by American Pacific Borates, ASX code ABR. I'm Matt Birney, and I'm joined now on 6PR by the Executive Director of American Pacific Borates, Anthony Hall. Hi, Anthony.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Perth-based American Pacific Borates is looking to create a new global supply of fertiliser from its Fort Cady project in the USA that will mine mostly borate, but also sulphate of potash, two specialised fertiliser products. The company has recently completed a feasibility study that shows an extraordinary long mine life and an even more extraordinary projected annual profit that would have a typical precious metals miner green with envy. Tony, before we get into those numbers, firstly, what are borates, and in particular, how are they used?
The main uses of borates are fiberglass, ceramics and fertilisers. But outside of that, you need borates now in lithium-ion batteries, according to Tesla. You need borates in electric vehicles, more broadly in permanent magnets, in wind turbines, in solar PV modules, in space shuttles, in nuclear power plants. You name it, there's massive uses for borates globally.
Who are the major global producers now, and where will you sort of fit into that metric?
The Turkish government control about 60% of the market, which is really interesting from a geopolitical standpoint. Rio Tinto in their mine in California, which is 100 kilometres from us, control 20% of the global market. Longer term, we're targeting to be about 6% of the global market, which will essentially make us the third largest producer of borates globally.
And I see you're planning a staged approach to building your borate mine in the US, with the income from each stage at least partially used to help fund the next stage. What's the capital outlay, firstly, just from the first stage, and what do you expect to make a year out of that first stage?
So we're in construction at present, where we're fully financed subject to shareholder approval of a convertible note. First phase CapEx is $50 million US. That produces $20 million a year in EBITDA. As you said, then we use some of that cash flow funding to finance additional stages.
Let me just ask you a few quick questions on the full-scale operation, and I appreciate you've got a bit of a time lag to get there, but what's the expected mine life for the full-scale project?
23 years, of which 16 years is covered by the current reserve.
How much capital will it take to build that full-scale project ultimately?
Total, it's $700 million USD CapEx. With cash flow funding, it's only $320 million US that we have to find.
How much is it expected to make a year? What's the projected EBITDA?
So in the first full year of production, it's $438 million US, about 660 million Australian dollars.
Have you attributed a net present value to the project in today's money?
So it's about 2.8 billion Australian dollars.
Anthony Hall from American Pacific Borates, thanks very much for joining me on the Market Wrap. And just remember, Bulls and Bears is only here to give you information, not advice, which you should of course seek independently. I'm Matt Birney. Thanks for listening to the Bulls and Bears Market Wrap.
For more public company CEO interviews, go to the Money page at 6pr.com.au and click the Public Companies tab.